As per Stork Jr. and Foley, some 70% of family-owned businesses fail or are sold before the second generation get a chance to take over. Just 10% remain active, privately held companies for the third generation to lead. In many ways, leading a family-owned business leading a family-owned business has never been more challenging. What we're finding today is that more family businesses are failing in Africa. The failure rate of these family businesses need to drop. What are we doing to finding a solution? I want to turn this failure rate into a success rate by researching root causes and listening to people on the ground, families on the ground, and see how we could use this research to turn the failure rate into a success rate. It's all about preservation of wealth, making a global difference. I'm Amit Sidat, author, businessman, coach, mentor to family businesses and family offices in Southern Africa, as well as in other countries as well. I've been working, researching, and consulting on the business of family businesses, and it has given me a great privilege that I've learned from years of knowledge and experience, and I hope to carry this collective wisdom forward as I meet future challenges. Where we are today is all about assimilating the various generations into family businesses. We have the baby boomers, Generation X, Generation Y, Generation Z, the millennials, and Alpha generation that are beginning to constitute various different family businesses in the different phases of their lives. Each generation has a different aspiration, distinction, talent, and background, and their varied proficiencies are causing a bit of hiccup, as we say, in family-owned businesses presently. The patriarch, the founding father of the family business, initially he's he's the owner, authoritarian, he's person-driven, he's a person-driven individual, and he runs a person-driven business. Everything is about him, and his word is law. The second generation entering the business, they display similar traits. We found that, but the focus is on sustaining the family. The third generation or the cousin generation focuses increasingly on living standards, and this is where tensions start in building the family business and the disintegration of the nucleus of the extended family. The problem statement is that we are adapting to different generation family businesses. The leadership is a channel, and each generation develops distinguishable characteristics. The patriarch determines the needs and wants of the founding family members in the family business, and each following generation have increased demands. The wants of previous generation become the needs of the current generation. This affects the family business significantly until the business collapses. The research aim, generational family businesses fail because expenses cannot be sustained. The aim of this pilot study was to explore the sustainability and the generational impact of the needs and wants of family businesses and family members in family business. Using Maslow's hierarchy as a guideline, the methodology was that a pilot study was taken and a design inductive approach. Primary data was through interviews, secondary data was literature review. The population was mainly in Gauteng and KwaZulu-Natal. Sampling was done for convenience, and it was done to people that were relaxed in a comfortable surrounding. Aside from psychology, Maslow's theory of needs also prevalent in business and education, and I found it was very prevalent in business when we're studying and undertaking and seeing people's behavioral patterns. As you know, Maslow's hierarchy of needs state individuals are driven by 5 needs in their strive towards self-actualization. The objective of applying this hierarchy is to determine what motivates and inspires people in a family business. When a need becomes fulfilled, the person moves on to another need as per Maslow's hierarchy. And before a higher level needs are met, the lower need the lower level needs to be met as well. This is Maslow's hierarchy, and it is not normal to know what we want, but it is really difficult on your physiological achievement as per Maslow. All great entrepreneurs have this journey and they know what they want. It's not always they know what they want, but they know what they want. Maslow argues that people get to the top in stages and he calls it self-actualization. It begins with meeting your physiological needs like water, food, sleep, love, right? But not in this sequence. Let us use the example of the pyramid to help you reach the top of the stage of self-actualization. In daily life, routine, people think, what it's all about. But let's look at your life and look at your routine and how you climb the ladder to the top of the pyramid. At the bottom is your physiological needs, right? And I believe that many of us could use the same uh, Maslow's hierarchy to understand what was our experience. But if we go in this way, we'll find that we'll be understanding where we are and what we're doing. Starting a family business or starting a business is easy. First, you create something that someone will pay for it. I started business by selling chappies at school, and I used to charge a cent. And do you remember your first company? It really started by the motivation of money, by the accomplishment that you were able to accomplish something. And even though I'm getting paid a cent for that chappie, but many a chappies, you just buy more and more chappies to see that how's those 1 cent multiplied. The next step is from your physiology needs, what you understood that way you'll be able to achieve what you want to achieve. You go into the next step of the safety net. People know, okay, I was the chappies guy. So in between breaks, if the guys did not go to the tuck shop, they know they could get chappies from me. From time to time, I was so-called pickpocketed by my own friends because they wanted a chappie but did not have sufficient. So their hands went into my pocket. So these are some of the things that happens in today's businesses as well. And then as from that selling chappies in school, I progressed. And what I found that as I progressed throughout this entire ladder, from when I was 21, when I started my first business, and my expenses was paid, I felt great. But after a few years, I started looking to do more. Now, what happened is that as you want to do more, what happens is that your lifestyle changes. And at this stage, what we find is that when you go into the social stage, this is where I found that many issues are taking place in family businesses. And in family businesses, at the social stage, people are beginning to live beyond their means. And we're finding that the social dilemmas and the business dilemmas are becoming issues and becoming major, major, major problematic, and failures are taking place between the social state and esteem before they can reach self-actualization. When you come to the failures, if you look at the failures, this is where the failures was, and where you want to look at the inherent issues that took place at this point in time. This will give you a much more in-depth view of what I was beginning to reflect. You find that between the safety, the love and belonging, and the esteem phases, you find that at this point in time where family businesses are failing, because the amount of money that have been spent at each level. This is where we need to address assisting people's needs and wants and how to take family businesses forward. Self-actualization, the self-fulfillment is a growing need, but how do we reach there? Family businesses, what we find presently is that those that are failing, they want to go to self-actualization before they have sorted out, or they have looked, or they have taken care, or they have ring-fenced the safety needs or the social needs. So, you know what, we want to be the Joneses. But what we need to understand is that at this point in time, many of them are not taking cognizance of the fact what's going to happen further. By using Maslow's theory, by using the hierarchy of pyramid, they are beginning to understand how to go forward. What we found is that by discussing these main issues, we're talking about the social, the love, belonging, and the esteem before you go into self-actualization. Many families have drifted apart, and there's a lot of tension and conflict. But when you sit down and make them understand the entire purpose and what businesses are and what they can do for you, you find that then they realize that, you know what, they come closer together and they understand where they are on the journey. Another aspect of it was that there was a lack of governance process. The governance process that we found was that there was no clear employment contract, there was no clear shareholding. Shareholding in the sense that many felt that a business that belongs to their dad belonged to them because they were involved in the business. This is something which is reprehensible. There was no clear governance process. There was no clear board meetings. There was no clear, communication. Communication is a glue that keeps a family business together, and this led to people putting their hands into the till or into the cookie jar and taking what they felt like taking. What we've done is that we started applying Maslow's hierarchy and we started looking at each level and the impact in family businesses. And we found that we could find, we could use, we could see the shortcomings and talents in the family businesses. Therefore, Maslow's hierarchy is therefore a useless tool to assist family business members, right, in the process towards self-actualization. All we needed to do was repackage the product and make them understand where they are. The implications and contribution on the governance leads to positive changes in family businesses. The impact of governance, these case studies, what we are doing is that we have reinstilled governance. And what we found is that by instilling governance, you could see the changes that have been taking place. Generations in family business, they need to enhance their leadership and commitment. Many are going now for leadership courses, understand what leadership is all about. Also, what we did is that we put in this pilot study the processes, performance measures, KPIs, key result areas, key performance areas. We put in an advisory board, as well as formulating a vision and mission statement of these businesses and introducing policies and procedures. What we found was that many of them could not see the vision and they did not understand what was really happening because we were not on the same page as other family members. And we are using now Maslow's pyramid to solving human needs and solving issues in family businesses. It's all about preservation of wealth, making a global difference. I invite you to do a research of yourself in your business, in your work, in your scenarios, to understand how the impact of Maslow's hierarchy of needs impact your business. Thank you very much. Needs for multi-generation family business. This is a pilot study, and I'm looking to expand more on this topic and do much more research and cast the net much more wider. Thank you. God bless you.